Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video is going to be my Beauty Bay Pan That Palette update video. So I have been working on my EYN palette and this is the fourth update, I believe. I actually have 4 more pans to show you since the last update. So we are flying through the eyeshadows in this palette. There are 42 eyeshadows in here and they are 1.4 grams each. I currently have, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pans showing out of the 42 so far. And a couple of those I had hit pan on before putting this palette in. I think there were 2 or 3 that I'd already had pan on because it'd been in a project before. But I will show you a clip of where I was at the last update and then I can show you and talk you through which ones I've been working on for this month. In the last update video I did go through a few goals with you and let you know which eyeshadows I wanted to hit pan on, and I did hit pan on a couple of those, but I did also change my mind a little bit and work on some other ones. So let's start at the top row. I didn't actually mention, let me give you like a quick overview of where we're at with the palette just so you can see the whole thing, and then I'll talk about each row individually. So the major changes are in the top row there. I hit pan on the shade Ice, which is that first white shimmery shade there, and I did mention that I'd been liking using that one recently, just all over the lid as a shimmer shade. I don't think I even mentioned last update, but I obviously finished up the shade Delicate completely, so it's really nice to see a completely empty pan in there. My goal for this palette, at least this year, is to just hit pan on all of the eyeshadows, and then once I've done that I can go in and try and finish some up completely, but it is nice to have an empty pan in there. And then obviously I think I'd hit pan on Vanilla Latte by the last update. Actually, did I? Yeah, I had already hit pan on Vanilla Latte. And then the one I hadn't hit pan on was Nothing Else. So this shade next to it is like a kind of peachy beige, well, peachy sort of off-white shade. Very similar to Delicate, which was in this one. So I've been using that exactly the same way as I use Delicate, which is to set the under eyes and to set my eyeshadow base underneath my brow bone and everything. So there's a huge amount of pan showing in Nothing Else now. And other than that, on the top row I have started to work on Undercover, this one. It's a couple of shades darker than Nothing Else, but it still works as a sort of brow bone shade when I have a bit of fake tan on. And then this one I've been working on loads. This one is Raw Sienna and it's just a very nice warm transition shade on my skin tone. And as you can tell, I have very warm hair at the moment, so it's been nice to sort of have an orangey brown to throw into my looks just to tie in my hair colour. And then moving on to the second row. Now these are all matte eyeshadows. I've not really worked on these a ton. I'd say out of these ones I've focused on Maple Syrup, Nutmeg and Cinnamon, which again are the more orangey red tones in this palette. So these kind of shades here, I've been creating a dip on, but there's no pan or anything. Then moving down into the third row of shimmers here, I hit pan on the shade Polished. And that is very much a light, shimmery, orange kind of shade. I'll swatch it. So that's what the shade Polished looks like, and it is that sort of shimmery, orangey colour. So you can tell why I've been gravitating towards that one. And I did hit pan on that. So I was supposed to be focusing on Success, this more sort of yellow gold one, but I just ended up fancying Polished a bit more, so I just went with it. And then I really didn't use any of the other colours on that row. I just focused on Hit and Pan on Polished. I didn't touch any of these shimmers on this row, and then I just worked on, the only other row in this palette I worked on is this row of mattes here. So as you can tell, I did Hit Pan in this shade here. This one's called Slow Motion, and I just used that in my eyebrows for the first part of the month. Then I moved over to Hot Cocoa, which is this beautiful reddy brown. It's one of my favourite eyeshadows in the palette in terms of the colour. And I've been using that in my eyebrows as an eyeshadow, and also in my hair. I quite often will have to fill in my hairline because I'm so like light blonde, it shows through. So this is a nice shade just to sort of mask that root regrowth. Honestly, that is all the progress I have to share with you. It seems like a really short one, mostly because this month I just took the approach of focusing in on a few shades in particular rather than getting used on all of the rows. So like I had specific goals that I wanted to Hit Pan on, and so there's not really too much to talk about. But as I say, I did hit 4 pans this last month, so I'm really pleased with that. I think it's great progress. And I suppose I'll talk about my goals for next month. So I've got a month to work on this palette again, and I think I'm going to try and Hit Pan on Hot Cocoa. I don't think that'll be very difficult. There's a huge dip going on in there already, and I think just throwing it into eye looks and obviously in my eyebrows and things like that, I should be able to Hit Pan on that fairly quickly. I think I want to work on a couple of these more copper tones now that my hair is like warmer, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to lighten it just a touch more as well, so I can get a bit more of a orangey vibe going on rather than red. So I've got 2 shades in here which are very, very similar. We've got Winning, this one, and then we've got Lucky Penny, this one here. So let me swatch them both. I mean, they are basically identical. So these two here, they're just incredibly similar copper tones. So perhaps I will pick one of those and try and Hit Pan. Probably #Winning because I've got more of a dip on that one already. So let's say that one. So we've got Hot Cocoa, Winning, and then I feel like I could probably hit another one in this top row. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can Hit Pan on Raw Sienna and Undercover as well, the one next to it. So these two right here. So Undercover, Raw Sienna, #Winning, and then Hot Cocoa. Those are the 4 that I'm going to be concentrating on, and I'm definitely going to start working on these blues this month as well, because I haven't focused on those over the last couple of months, and they are my favourite ones in the palette. Still really enjoying this palette, not bored of it just yet, which is good because we're only on month 4, so I've got a long way to go with this one. So I won't ramble on anymore. I will keep this nice and brief for you because these upload videos can get a little bit repetitive, but I would absolutely love to know what palette you're working on this year. If you're I know some people are doing like rotating palettes throughout the year, but if you are concentrating on just the one, then let me know which one you're working on. I'd be really interested to hear how you're getting on. If you enjoyed this video, then please do subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that, and I'll chat to you in the comments. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!